In this week's show, we continue our How to Full-Time RV series with a look at how we get our internet and how we work from the road. Well, hi kids. I'm Mike.
I'm Tony.
And welcome to our RV Sunsets. We are an old married, can I say slightly chubby?
Very chubby.
We are an old married, slightly chubby couple in our 50s, and we full-time in our Brinkley Z3100. We are on our third year of full-timing. You're probably hearing some growling around over here, because Gracie Girl, our little Chihuahua pug mix, is rolling in the sun. I also want to welcome you to our series on how to full-time RV.
In this episode, we're going to talk about how we handle our internet, which is very important as we do run a business full-time out of our RV. We'll also talk about how we personally work from the road. And if you stay till the end, we can even offer you a few resources to help you get on your way to working full-time in your RV.
Yeah, maybe a couple resources that help you kind of find some remote work around the country. All right, before we go anywhere else, I have two questions to ask you. One, Tony Tal, if you notice, her hairstyle is different this time. She got no bangs. Bangs are like the female version of male facial hair because you can do so much with them.
Like not have them.
Like not have them. So what are your thoughts? Bangs, no bangs? What do you think? The other question is, how do you like the glasses? I love those glasses. Those are super cool glasses, Tony Tal.
I need him to read the notes.
So they are functional and attractive.
Oh, thank you.
All right, let's get things started with how we roam the internets from our mobile mansion.
So I think the first thing we should talk about is why internet is so important to us and how we use it on the road.
Good idea.
We use it like everybody else for social media, for our computers. I have an Alexa in here. We have a Ring camera that when we leave the trailer, we can keep an eye on Gracie because, we like to keep an eye on our baby. We use it for our smart TV, for streaming TV. More importantly, though, is we do have to have good, solid internet for our work.
Using our internet for business, because we run a video production company out of the rig, some of the business things that we use it for are internet so that we can communicate with clients. This is both emails and Zoom calls. We also use it to record interviews for certain projects. What else?
Do you set up and download files?
Yes, and we use it to up and download files. And for us, since they're video files, that means they are big files that we are pushing up and down.
And like I said, since our internet supports our business, we have to have it 100% of the time, or as close to 100% of the time as we can. And this means we actually have redundancy.
So we have two ways that we access the internet. The first is Starlink. Starlink is our preferred service and it works amazingly well in most situations. The only caveat to that is that you can have coverage issues with Starlink. If you're in areas that have a lot of trees, that can be a problem. You basically need a clear view or the clearest view you can get of the northern sky to get the best results out of Starlink.
This also means that Starlink actually works pretty good here in the western part of the country because you're not covered with trees. And one caveat is when you get up to like Washington and Oregon, you may end up in parks that are pretty tree covered. So it can be an issue up there.
Yeah, especially in the western areas of the Pacific Northwest. When we were up in Mora Campground up in Olympic, there was no way we were getting Starlink. Eastern Washington and Oregon, though, you have plenty of open sky.
So also keep in mind, in the West, you do have a lot of areas that either have no cell coverage or very limited cell coverage, and Starlink will help you bridge that gap.
So what kind of Starlink do we have? We have the roam plan, and our average speeds on this roam plan for up and down bandwidth, we usually get around 200 megabits per second going down, and then we usually have 20 to 30 megabits per second on the uplink. The other cool thing about roam, especially if you're a part-time RVer, is that you can turn it on and off as needed. So say you're going to take a 3-month trip, turn it on, you have access, you get back, you're not not going to go anywhere for a couple months, just turn it off. Cost on the roam service changes from time to time, but as of today, when we're recording this, the cost is as follows. There's a one-time hardware charge. It's $349 for the standard dish. That's what we have. It's a little bit larger. And it is $499 for the mini dish. The mini's more transportable. You can fit it in a backpack. So if you want to go hiking with your Starlink mini, the mini one might be the one for you. The monthly service fees are the same for either of these dishes, and it's $165 a month if you want unlimited bandwidth. If you're okay with only having 50 gigabits per month, then it's only $50 a month for that.
Another advantage of Starlink is you can be out in the middle of nowhere with no cell coverage, and you can set up Wi-Fi calls. Yeah,
we went through Death Valley this year and we knew that there was going to be absolutely no cell phone coverage going through there. So we packed the Starlink in the truck. We also have a Blue Eddy for power that we could plug it into. And then I just set up Wi-Fi calling on my phone. So if we had broke down in the middle of Death Valley and had to call for help, we could just use the Starlink service to make that voice call for help. So we mentioned that we always need redundancy. So the other internet service we have is a Pepwave 5G mobile router, and it has a Verizon SIM card in it with a data plan. If you're in the eastern United States, this might be a good solution for you because the eastern part of the US, much more populated, so coverage is good just about anywhere and everywhere in the eastern US. Also, the eastern United States is much more forested, so there's a much larger possibility that you're going to wind up in a campground with a lot of tree coverage and you're not going to get good Starlink service. The cost for our cellular solution was as follows. The hardware was $999.99. Yeah, it was $1,000 for the Pepwave 5G router. Our data plan through Verizon is an unlimited usage plan, so we can use as much bandwidth as we need, but the bandwidth is throttled at 150 megabits per second up and down. We might have hit the 150 megabit down once or twice. We've never hit the 150 megabit up. We usually get, between 20 and 30 megabits per second on the uplink. Cost on this plan is $70 a month.
One last note on the Pepwave router is that it has the ability to take 2 SIM cards for redundancy. So whether you have SIM cards from multiple carriers like Verizon or AT&T, it can use those for whatever the best solution for that area that you're in.
So the other thing that the Pepwave mobile router can do is it can take multiple connections. Say you do have those 2 SIM cards from different carriers, or in our case, the SIM card and the Starlink, and it can bind those 2 connections together to give you a bigger, fatter pipe to send
data.
Yes, that's the word I'm looking for.
Data.
To send data up and down the pipeline. All right, that covers what we do for internet. If you have a different solution that you're using for internet, put that in the comments below so that other people that are watching can learn from you as well. So let's move on to work. What do we do for work while we're on the road?
When it comes to our situation and how we work from the road, we still have clients here in San Diego. So we travel part of the year and we come back to San Diego and work part of the year. Also, while we're traveling, we're still doing work. So we're really fortunate. We spend a chunk of the year traveling and we spend a chunk of the year here in San Diego. And honestly, that gives us the best of both worlds. We have to come back to San Diego. We're here for 6 months. It gives us time to kind of rest, maintenance the rig, get the work done, but it also makes us like itch to get out and travel again. And then when we're traveling, we travel for 6 months and we're on the go for almost every week for 6 months. And then we have a place to come back to that we can actually rest. When we're traveling, you're traveling and you're just loving it, but towards the end, you're getting a little tired. You want that place to settle down. When we're here, we hit about 4 months of that 6 months in and we're like itching to go. It really is, for us, it's the best of both worlds.
Yeah, one kind of enhances the other. The stationary enhances the travel enhances the stationary. If we do have a job that pops up in San Diego while we're on the road, we have a few producers and camera operators that we can send to film it, and then we have them send that footage to me, usually via FedEx, because I can edit from anywhere on the road. Nowadays, edit systems are basically a laptop and a monitor.
Here's the other thing about the fact that we travel. We've had clients that have sent us to certain places, and instead of charging them airline fees and everything, we're like, we're just going to travel there and we'll just charge you the campground fee, which is a lot less than airline, hotels, all that. So what I'm saying is, if you need video production work and we're heading your way, give us a call.
Nothing like pimping the business.
Isn't that what we're supposed to be doing?
Yeah, I think so. But what if you don't have a business and you need to find new remote work so that you can work from the road? Well, here's a few places that you can look to try and find that work.
Many job search websites will allow you to go in and put a filter on that says remote. Once you do that, it'll show you all the remote jobs. This is a good place to start, like Indeed.com, Monster.com. There's a whole bunch of them out there.
If you have skills that can lead to gig work, things like video editing or web design or copywriting, there's a couple of places out there that you can look for that kind of work, and that would be places like Upwork.com and FlexJobs.com.
Another job opportunity, and we know people that are doing this, is camp hosting at campgrounds and RV parks. Most will offer you a free site, so you're not having to pay rent on a site. Some will offer you even compensation for the work that you're doing. The work can be anything from manning their desks, campground maintenance, cleaning, just general maintenance and handy type of work, some even bartending. A good place to online to find those type of jobs is called workcamper.com.
One small caveat, some of these places that we are mentioning are going to have a fee to join the websites and get the information, but most of them also have a free trial if you want to just pop in there and see what it's like. For any of you that are very, very adventurous, we even have some friends that have done gate guarding jobs in Texas, and then there is seasonal beet harvesting, sugar beet harvesting in places like Michigan and I believe North Dakota, maybe some other places as well. So in short, there's all kinds of work out there for you if you're willing to look for it, and like everything in full-time RV world, if you're willing to be flexible about what kind of work you're going to do.
Another thing to think about is seasonal. I mean, that's kind of how we actually work. Fill the bank account, we live kind of cheaply, so we can spend that 6 months on the road. So maybe plan your travel around seasonal work. End up someplace, go to work for Amazon, go to work for some of the retailers, spend, 3 or 4 months building up that bank account, and then head out.
Swell idea.
So that's it for this week. What are we going to do next week?
Next week, we'll be covering something that was a great idea from viewers Stephen and Tiffany, who left this comment. A question we'd love to see answered is travel day tips. Routines when you're traveling, planning stops, meals, gas, overnights, and tips and tricks for making the journey go more smoothly. Well, Stephen and Tiffany, we think that's a swell idea, and thank you for suggesting it. So that is what we're going to cover next week, what we do on a travel day. Now, before you leave, I would like to ask you to please hit the like button. Please click on the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, and if you could please leave us a comment below. And I think that's it. Got anything else to add?
No, but again, thank you for the tip. And if you have any other topics you want us to talk about, leave a comment and we'll do our best to hit on it.
Excellent idea. All right, kids, we'll see you next week.